This video is the result of a collaborative effort by all the project partners of the AgroInsure project. The project offers ECVET-compliant training materials that focus on implementing ecologically sustainable agriculture on industrial surfaces within urban environments. But before we dive deep into the lessons, why don't we find out first how, when, and who started rooftop farming? Are you ready? Let's start with a quote from Anastasia Kolplakias, one of the founders of the biggest rooftop farms in the world today. Rooftop farming is not just about growing food. It's about growing communities, resilience, and a healthier planet. Do you think the people who started rooftop farming share the same opinion? Now let's do a quick rundown of some of the first rooftop gardens. The earliest known instances of rooftop gardens trace back to the ancient ziggurats of Mesopotamia, constructed between the 4th millennium and 600 BC. These massive stone structures featured terraces adorned with trees and shrubs, creating cooler microclimates in the hot desert environment. The best preserved example of a ziggurat roof garden is found in Nana, built by the first king of the Ur dynasty, Ur-Nammu, who ruled from 2113 to 2095 BC in an attempt to outdo the splendor of the ziggurat at Anunnaki, believed to be the biblical Tower of Babel, which had a base of 100 feet and was over 100 feet tall. This photo was taken last April 16, 2022. This is one of the remains of the ziggurat or Great Ziggurat of Ur. In Sumerian, Timen Engru Adamaniguru, meaning temple whose foundation creates aura, is a Neo-Sumerian ziggurat in what was the city of Ur near Nasiriyah, in present-day Daikar province in Iraq. The structure was built during the early Bronze Age 21st century BC, but had crumbled to ruins by the 6th century BC of the Neo-Babylonian period, when it was restored by King Nabonidus. But perhaps the most famous of all rooftop gardens, the Hanging Gardens of Babylon, built by Nebuchadrezzar II, 605–562 BC, were once considered one of the 7 wonders of the world. According to legend, he created them for his wife, Amytis, who longed for the greenery of her homeland. Though no concrete evidence of the gardens exists, ancient texts mention them centuries after their supposed destruction. The structure featured stone construction, vaulted ceilings supporting soil, and an advanced drainage system with reed layers, baked clay bricks, and a lead waterproof membrane. Let's do a challenge. Imagine how the Hanging Gardens of Babylon looks like now, if it still exists. Must be one of the most popular tourist destinations, right? Feel free to render an AI image. You'll be amazed. The Romans also constructed rooftop gardens, exemplified by the Villa of Mysteries in Pompeii. This grand residence, buried by the eruption of Mount Vesuvius, featured terraces adorned with trees and shrubs. Through meticulous excavation and restoration, researchers have been able to identify some of the plant species that once thrived in the garden. Now, let's see how rooftop farming evolved from the 1600s to the 1900s. Before 1600, various civilizations had experimented with elevated gardens, but they were primarily ornamental rather than agricultural. The Hanging Gardens of Babylon 6th century BCE and rooftop gardens in ancient Rome served as inspirations, though there is no direct evidence they were used for food production. Agricultural practices remained largely rural, with rooftop farming not being widely documented. Let's find out about 1600 to 1700. Renaissance and early modern Europe. Italy is renowned for its historical gardens, including various rooftop gardens that have been part of its heritage. Examples such as the Palazzo Piccolomini, the Tower of the Ganegis, and the Medici roof garden showcase early Italian designs where terraces and gardens were integrated into rooftops. These elevated gardens not only provided scenic views of the countryside and urban landscapes, but also preserved the geometric patterns characteristic of Italian garden architecture. The Mont Saint-Michel in France houses a roof garden atop the cloister. Gardens at Mont Saint-Michel were placed wherever open space was available. It was a space for monks to find tranquility and be closer to God, and it served as a passage between the abbey church and refectory. While these were primarily decorative, wealthy patrons sometimes grew herbs and fruits on terraces or upper levels of buildings. Urban kitchen garden. Some European towns, especially in Amsterdam and Paris, saw small-scale urban gardening. However, rooftop use was rare due to the structural limitations of buildings. Asian influence. In China and Japan, scholars, and aristocrats occasionally maintained small rooftop gardens, growing medicinal plants and teas. Now let's jump into 1700 to 1800. Industrialization and urbanization. The 18th century was a period of significant social, economic, and technological transformation, driven largely by the early stages of the Industrial Revolution. This time saw an increase in urbanization as people flocked from rural areas to cities in search of work, primarily in growing industrial sectors. As cities became more densely populated, the demand for food grew exponentially, leading to urban agriculture becoming increasingly essential. However, despite the rising demand, rooftop farming was still largely impractical due to structural limitations in buildings, though ground-based urban agriculture began to thrive. Parisian market gardens. Paris became famous for its highly productive urban gardens in the late 18th century. These gardens used hotbeds made from horse manure to extend the growing season. While primarily ground-based, some innovative gardeners experimented with raised beds on terraces, greenhouses, and orangeries. Wealthy estates in Europe often had glass roof structures for growing citrus and exotic plants. Some early greenhouses were built on terraces, hinting at the future concept of rooftop farming. Are you ready to explore 1800 to 1900? It is all about industrial revolution and early experiments. The 19th century was a period of profound transformation, marked by the rapid growth of urbanization and the industrialization of agriculture. As cities expanded at an unprecedented rate, they began to face new challenges related to food production, living conditions, and the environment. These pressures led to significant innovations in both agriculture and architecture, many of which laid the groundwork for the later development of rooftop farming and urban agriculture in the 20th and 21st centuries. New York's elevated gardens, late 1800s. Some wealthy residents experimented with rooftop gardens, though these were mostly for aesthetics rather than food production. Parisian rooftop beekeeping, 1870s. Rooftop apiaries were established in Paris to support pollination and honey production. Green roofs in Germany, 1880s. Some early green roofs were developed to insulate buildings, particularly in Berlin and Hamburg, which later influenced green urban design. Isn't this history so fascinating? Let's fast forward to today and find out how rooftop farms are and how they evolved. Rooftop farming has evolved significantly over the past few decades, shifting from aesthetic and recreational spaces to essential components of urban agriculture. Modern rooftop farms can be found in cities around the world, contributing to sustainability, food security, and environmental health. The rise of technologies like hydroponics, aquaponics, and vertical farming has made it easier to grow food in urban settings. Rooftop farms now play a key role in reducing carbon footprints, enhancing biodiversity, and fostering community engagement. Before, the main role of rooftop farms and gardens was mostly for insulation and decor. But let's now find out what are the roles of modern rooftop farming today. 1. Food production. Rooftop farms grow a variety of crops, including vegetables, herbs, fruits, and even livestock in some cases. They provide fresh produce for local consumption, reducing the need for long-distance transportation. 2. Sustainability. These farms help mitigate the urban heat island effect, manage stormwater, and improve air quality. 3. Technology integration. Innovations such as smart sensors, hydroponics, and AI-driven farming techniques are being used to optimize yields and resource use. Lastly, community engagement. Rooftop farms foster a sense of community, with many farms offering educational programs and providing spaces for urban dwellers to connect with nature. Coming in next is a favorite topic of many: farms and gardens on rooftops and walls. Tell me who's the coolest of them all. Number 1 on the list is not just one of the coolest, but it is the biggest in the USA today: Brooklyn Grange in New York. Since its first farm opened in Queens a decade ago, it has expanded to 2.2 hectares, producing over 36,000 kilograms of organic vegetables annually. These are supplied to restaurants, CSAs, and the local community through farm stands. The farm also focuses on education, offering field trips, summer camps, and after-school programs for youth through city growers. Additionally, they run nearly 20 rooftop beehives across the city for their farming business. Cool stuff, isn't it? Let's fly to Asia and check the second on the list. The Thammasat University Green Roof, Thailand. Located just outside Bangkok, is the largest rooftop farm in Asia, spanning 7,000 meters squared. Once an unused space, it has been transformed into a sustainable farming project inspired by the region's historic rice paddies. The terrace design minimizes runoff and maximizes rainwater use for irrigation. The farm grows indigenous plants and a special rice variety, which is shared with the local community. Solar panels installed around the farm provide energy to pump water and power the building. This project serves as a model for future sustainable urban development. Coming in sweet on the third spot is the Honey Rooftop in Melbourne, Australia. Rooftop Honey, founded in 2010, is an urban beekeeping initiative in Melbourne with over 130 hives spread across the city. The operation produces high-quality honey for locals and supports pollination by allowing bees to travel up to 5 kilometers from their hives. This helps maintain the health of the surrounding flowering ecosystem. Australia's unique advantage in beekeeping is its absence of the varroa mite, a harmful parasite affecting honeybees elsewhere. Rooftop Honey also offers mentorship sessions in spring and autumn for those interested in learning about urban beekeeping. Now, isn't that buzzing? Paris isn't just for fashion. It also snatched the fourth place of this coolest rooftop farms list. Let's check out Nature Urbane. It is Europe's largest rooftop farm, located in Paris at the Pavilion 6 of the Paris Expo Porte de Versailles. Established in 2020, it spans 14,000 square meters and produces up to 1,000 kilograms of fresh produce daily, including lettuce, tomatoes, strawberries, and herbs. The farm focuses on sustainable agricultural practices, promoting biodiversity and providing pesticide-free food to urban residents. It also aims to engage the community in urban agriculture, contributing to food security and environmental awareness. Number 5 is Comcrop in Singapore. Singapore's first and only commercial rooftop farming company, launched in 2014 and is considered a pioneer in the urban farming movement. Their mission is to address food security, provide sustainable farming solutions, and educate the community about food sourcing. Using hydroponic technology, Comcrop grows pesticide-free leafy greens like basil, lettuce, and chisim. Currently based in Woodlands, the company is expanding to a 4,000 meters squared facility, aiming to increase its yield from 1,000 plants per day. In the future, Comcrop plans to establish satellite rooftop farms in residential areas across Singapore. That's the last one. Do you want more? Project partners are working hard on all the training materials, and you can find them in our project website. Check it out. Just type in https://agro-insure.eu. We are also on Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube. Check out the rest of the videos to learn more. Thank you for watching and learning with us.